Kizaru and Aokiji, enemies since the dawn of time. They will fight, and they will. Nah, I'm just playing, guys. What's up, guys? It's your boy Double STSG, Sam Smith, the Superior Gamer, and I'm also a Superior Analyst, as you guys are about to see. But no, if you guys watch the anime or whatever, you know that Kizaru and Aokiji aren't enemies. They were actually on the same side for a time. They're actually probably boys. They probably hang out off screen and, like, you know what I mean, drink mimosas and date baddies. I don't know, bro. I don't know what they do. No, but you guys know what we're here to do. We're here to talk about the Iceman himself, Aokiji, and the Lightman himself, Kizaru. And obviously, if these two were to fight. Okay, guys, personally, if Aokiji and Kizaru were to fight, I do want to clarify some things. I personally don't think that their physical attributes, like without their devil fruits, would make too big a difference. And the reason I feel that way is because all the admirals did similarly well at Marineford against similar caliber opponents, whether it was the Whitebeard commanders or Whitebeard himself. So they all kind of, you know, clashed with Whitebeard for a little bit. Well, I say clash, but they engaged, I guess, for a little bit. The only one who actually clashed or fought with Whitebeard for any extended period of time was Akainu, and we all know how that went. Yeah, it didn't go well for him. No, but in all seriousness, guys, we're here to talk about Kizaru and Aokiji, and if they were to fight. There is one other thing I do want to clear up, and that's actually Kizaru's intelligence. A lot of people think Kizaru's stupid, which is just blatantly wrong. People think that he's dumb because of his kind of nonchalant attitude. But I think the reason Kizaru acts this way, or he seems like he is very nonchalant and very, like, not caring, is because he understands how badass he is. He knows that he's unfuckwittable. That's the thing, unfuckwittable. Like, obviously there are some characters, but, like, for the most part, there aren't a lot of people who can, you know, get down with Kizaru, and I think he knows that. But I personally think this fight is going to come down to devil fruits, and their mastery between Aokiji and Kizaru, what they can do with their devil fruits. So without further ado, I guess since I was talking about Kizaru, we'll talk about his fruit first. So Kizaru ate the Glint fruit, which gave him the ability to turn into light and manipulate light in basically any manner that he chooses. So let's talk about some of his attacks. Kizaru has a plethora of attacks, whether it be his Sacred Drool technique, where he launches a bunch of light beams at you at once. We've seen him use that at Marineford. We've seen him use it a couple of other times, but that's kind of one of the main things Kizaru does, is he shoots light beams. It's like one of his most famous moves. Now, he does also have some physical attacks, like kicking people at the speed of light, which he tends to do. I would say he only really does this against less capable opponents, I should say. Like he did it at Sabaody with all the worst generation. He was, you know, kicking them around because he could. But he doesn't tend to get close unless he really feels like it. But yeah, he can kick you at the speed of light. But one other thing I do want to talk about is so I guess not really talk about, I guess it's right here, it's being explained. His light beams, they pass through people, but they do tend to explode too. Like if they hit things on the opposite side or whatever, like we see he's shooting through this guy and it's not doing anything to him. Hawkins is just there, the beams are going through him, but Kizaru's attacks do explode. You see it a little bit. Oh, and another thing we should talk about is his Yada mirror. So this is one of his most broken things, at least in my opinion. His ability to move unhindered with minimal resistance and basically do whatever he wants is kind of insane. Now, that being said, you see right here, Rayleigh's able to actually catch up to him and get where he is. So it's not like he's untouchable or whatever. But yeah, so there's another one, an instance of Kizaru's attacks exploding. And I just think that in terms of what Kizaru does, his ability with his fruit, it seems like he kind of has a very linear way of attacking. There's another explosion for you. He likes to shoot beams at people. He likes to use his range against people. But that being said, he can fight up close. We've seen him do that with a few different opponents like Rayleigh, Marco, and Whitebeard most notably, I guess. But yeah, he can also make weapons out of light, like his light sword. We've never seen him make anything else, but I mean, I don't see why he wouldn't be able to. It seems like something he'd be able to do. Now let's talk a little bit about Aokiji's fruit. So Aokiji ate the Hihi no Mi, which gave him it's the chill fruit. It gave him the abilities to manipulate ice and, turn his body into ice and so on and so forth. Very similar to Kizaru, I should say. Now, actually, Kizaru and Aokiji do have very similar abilities. Kizaru can make weapons, and so can Aokiji. I'd say Aokiji is a little bit better at it. He makes ice swords, spears that he can launch at people, all manner of weapons. We've also seen him make a giant falcon out of ice, which he launched at Ace, and it created a bunch of ice shards that shot all over the place. Aokiji's got a very versatile arsenal as well. But one of the strongest things, I should say, that he does, that we've seen him do, and I would say that's his most potent kind of ability, is the ability to freeze people on contact, completely solid. And now, while this doesn't do so much damage being frozen, it does do something. It basically makes people immobile, and it immobilizes them so that Aokiji can do whatever he wants afterwards. Now, that being said, he doesn't actually have to touch you to do this. And one other thing I wanted to mention about Aokiji is that we do know he's awakened, so he can manipulate the surrounding area around him, I guess, and turn it into ice. Now, we don't know for sure if Kizaru is awakened or not, but I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be. I mean, he's has just as much time and experience with his Devil Fruit as Aokiji and Akainu, so it would make sense that he would be awakened as well. So with all that being said, who wins? Aokiji or Kizaru? If you ask me, personally, Kizaru wins. Now, as for why I feel that way, there are two reasons why I feel like Kizaru wins. That is his range and his mobility/agility. Now, the reason I say this is because Kizaru literally does not have to fight Aokiji up close. He can literally stand as far away or be as far away as he wants and blast Aokiji with light beams or whatever. Now, Aokiji does have range himself, so he can also launch attacks at Kizaru. However, like I said, mobility and agility. Kizaru literally can move anywhere in the battlefield with no resistance, no problem, with the speed of light, basically. So he's going to be able to avoid Aokiji's attacks very easily. And vice versa, if Aokiji dodges Kizaru's attacks, we've seen that Aokiji's attacks explode, or Kizaru's attacks explode on impact. So if let's say Aokiji dodges Kizaru's attack, and it hits something even relatively close to Aokiji, the resulting explosion is going to cause damage to Aokiji, right? So it just really limits what Aokiji can do defensively. And also, like I said, Kizaru doesn't really have to worry. He can kind of dodge all of Aokiji's attacks with no problem. This does one other thing. It forces Aokiji to get close. He's going to be the one who has to make the move to get close to Kizaru to do any serious damage. Now, this is a problem because it means that Kizaru can control the pace of the fight, which is going to be a huge advantage. Now, the only way that I see Aokiji being able to pull a W out of this is if Kizaru can't, in fact, use Awakening. If Kizaru can't awaken and he can't manipulate the surrounding area, then I think Aokiji would probably win because he'd be able to control the battlefield and he'd be able to force Kizaru into compromising positions, force him to maybe come close, and I think that would just be too much pressure for Kizaru to deal with. He'd win. Now, one other thing to mention is that we know Aokiji's stamina and his endurance are pretty crazy because he fought Akainu for 10 days on Punk Hazard. So I'm sure he could fight Kizaru for double that, maybe, and maybe he can outlast Kizaru, but I don't think that's very likely. I'm sure Kizaru can fight just as long as Aokiji, if not longer, considering he won't be taking as much damage. But yeah, guys, if Aokiji and Kizaru were to fight for whatever reason, I'm pretty sure they're boys, but if they were to fight for whatever reason, unfortunately for all the Aokiji fans out there, the yellow monkey, Kizaru, would win. Yo, I hope you guys really enjoyed the video. Let me know if you guys think differently in the comments, or if you obviously, I guess if you feel the same, let me know. Let me know if you think my analysis was good. But with all that being said, that's your boy Double STSG, Sam Smith, the Superior Gamer. I hope everybody has a great day or night, depending on when you're watching this. Don't forget to tell somebody you love them and you appreciate them. And other than that, guys, peace out.